The vibe is immediately off when you're greeted by a repurposed plant droid turned medic. Master Lachesis is out, and you're left yapping to an AI. It's giving low-budget sci-fi and sets a weirdly chaotic tone for what's to come. This is the start of the whole mess. Turns out the rock samples brought back have omnium, not zeronium, which is a massive deal. The problem is there aren't enough samples to make it official. It's like getting a blurry photo of a UFO. Intriguing, but not enough to convince the haters. The science girlies are stressed. Kylo totally ghosted Hyros headquarters when they asked where you were, blaming it on space-time turbulence. It's the cosmic equivalent of saying, sorry, bad signal, when you don't want to answer a call. Rafa only reappeared when it was convenient, which is a major red flag. The whole negotiation with Kylo is basically a sham. Hyros HQ knows Kylo isn't negotiating in good faith. The real mission is to stall for time and finesse the space rift technology from them. It's a high-stakes corporate espionage plot disguised as a diplomatic tea party. The target is the Hykros Tech Institute, which used to be part of the main company but got snatched by Anchor Infinity. They literally just absorbed the whole branch and renamed it. It's the classic story of a hostile takeover, and now you're being sent in to reclaim the IP. Nem, the super AI, is online and wants to help, but corporate politics are getting in the way. Plotty shut down the official request, so Nem is offering to slide into the DMs on a private comms channel. It's peak. My boss said no, but I got you energy. Nanto is on his way, and he's acting suspiciously nice, which is never a good sign. He wants to bring Carrot along, probably for some PR stunt. The whole situation feels like a trap, and the hidden malice comment confirms everyone's on edge. The tension is thick. Ever since the assembly, the protagonist has been labeled the Ida Visitor, and the rumors are wilding out. People are calling them everything from tourists to aliens. Anchor Infinity is letting the gossip run rampant, which is a calculated move to control the narrative and isolate them completely. Rafa is about to drop a massive migration plan for the Kylians. It's a classic smokescreen to distract from the protagonist's arrival and maintain control. He's been gatekeeping this new habitat, and now he's using it as a political tool to stop people from getting any ideas about Ida. The Orzero Zone wasn't the only habitable area the Kylians found. There were others, but this one had the best conditions and fewer astral hives, so they focused their resources there. This just proves Anchor Infinity has been holding back information from its own people for a long time. General Veronica, a major player in the Hope Fleet, has been conveniently sent away on a long exploration mission. Anchor Infinity approved her years-long proposal right now just to get her out of the picture. This means the trip to the Brighton Zone will be extra dangerous without her support. A contingency plan is set up, leaking space rift coordinates if things go sideways. It's a massive bluff, a mutually assured destruction type of move to keep Anchor Infinity in check. But it's risky, because they could just get captured before they even have a chance to do it. The welcome party is here, and it's all for show. Nanto insists on bringing Carrot for a photo op with the press, making it clear this is a PR tour, not a genuine diplomatic visit. They are being managed and controlled from the second they arrive, which is super sketchy. Upon arrival, the Brighton Zone is presented as a paradise with perfect healthcare, a front for Helix Bio. It's all part of the performance, a carefully curated experience to show off Kylo's best side while hiding the darker truths. The corporate perfection is unsettling, to say the least. We meet Lana, Anchor Infinity's AI assistant, who comes off as a creepy, uncanny valley prototype. Nanto adjusts her affinity and emotional levels like she's a video game character, which is deeply weird. It shows just how artificial and controlled this entire environment is. This feels so dystopian. Rafa, the big boss, is a no-show, sending his underlings instead. Joe Hamilton from Helix Bio and Johns Daly from the Tech Institute. It's a classic power move, showing he doesn't see them as important enough for his personal time. The corporate ladder drama is so real here. The press conference is framed as a precious opportunity that they can't possibly refuse. It's a classic manipulation tactic, forcing them into a public spectacle where they'll have no control. They're being railroaded into a PR nightmare, and they have no choice but to play along. Whispers in the crowd reveal the Kylians are torn about Ida's return. Some are hopeful for cheap oranges, while others think it's a bombed-out wasteland. It shows the deep-seated propaganda from Anchor Infinity and the desperation of the people. The public is completely divided and confused on the issue. Joe Hamilton from Helix Bio starts his villain monologue, yapping about how Kylo's unique space environment has led to scientific breakthroughs Ida could never achieve. He's so smug and condescending, acting like a gatekeeping science bro. His arrogance is off the charts, and he's clearly insecure. He calls other researchers useless scraps that should be recycled. It's a chilling look into the cutthroat, eugenics-adjacent philosophy of Helix Bio. They see life as a resource to be exploited, and anyone who doesn't contribute is considered literal trash. The mask is fully off now. The Astral Hive, those terrifying insectoid creatures, are considered a precious treasure by Helix Bio. They believe these creatures represent the pinnacle of evolution and hold the key to new life. It's a twisted perspective that borders on a weird, scientific death cult. Super creepy stuff. At the Kylo Expo Hall, the conversation turns to negotiations, but Johns dismisses it, claiming Hycross is just a small research institute under Anchor Infinity. It's a subtle but powerful way of putting them in their place, reminding them of their lack of power and influence in this territory. Finally, the press conference begins, and it's immediately hostile. Nanto introduces the long-awaited Ida visitor to a room of skeptical reporters. The whole setup is designed to put them on the defensive and publicly discredit them in front of the entire population. It's a public execution. The first question is from a reporter named Knox, who immediately accuses them of being a con artist trying to scam gullible homecomers. There's no softball question to warm up. It's a full-on attack from the jump. This was never meant to be a fair dialogue at all. The crowd turns, and Nanto suggests a solution. Send the representative through a space rift to Ida right now to bring back proof. It's a perfectly orchestrated trap designed to fail. He's putting them on the spot, forcing them into an impossible situation to expose them as frauds. Surely, the assistant volunteers to go, but it's clear the whole thing is a setup. The diplomatic representative knows they are being played, but they have to go along with it to avoid being branded as liars. They're trapped between a rock and a hard place. Of course, the space rift doesn't work. The crowd erupts, and the trap is sprung. They are publicly declared a fraudster, and the guards are called to haul them away. The entire press conference was a meticulously planned character assassination, and it worked perfectly. What a disaster. They are processed and thrown into Brighton prison. The charges are fraud and endangering public safety, with an undetermined sentence. This is where they'll live for the rest of their life, all because they fell into Rafa and Nanto's trap, from diplomat to prisoner in the span of an hour. Nanto lays out all their crimes, from colluding with the Wednesday crew to hiding Halim. He knows everything, proving their surveillance is top tier. He's trying to break their spirit, showing them that Anchor Infinity has been 10 steps ahead this entire time. It's a massive power play. The bluff card is played, threatening to leak the Space Rift entrance coordinates. Nanto immediately calls their bluff, revealing that Anchor Infinity sent fake coordinates to Hyros. The real entry point is now a raging vortex of turbulence. Anyone who goes there will be instantly deleted from existence. Nanto reveals the true diabolical nature of the plan. By leaking the fake coordinates, the protagonist would unwittingly send all of Anchor Infinity's enemies, the pirates and homecomers, to their deaths. They were being manipulated into committing mass murder without even realizing it. This is next-level evil genius. Nanto delivers a final chilling blow. He reveals he was the one who arranged the hideout in Brighton prison, twisting a wish made at Odin's tavern into this nightmare. He's been pulling the strings from the very beginning, a master manipulator enjoying his victory. It's so messed up. Inside the prison, the protagonist meets their new roommate, who's already heard the news. The propaganda has spread fast. Everyone believes they're a fraud who even managed to fool Anchor Infinity. The isolation is complete, as even their fellow prisoners think they're a joke. What an awful situation. The prison isn't for criminals, it's for dissidents. It holds the bravest and most righteous who dared to resist Anchor Infinity. The iron bars don't lock up criminals, but rather Kylo's last conscience. The prison is actually a political gulag for anyone who speaks truth to power. The inmate captain, Gandhi, reveals she was framed for plotting an uprising. Her original 20-year sentence was extended to 99 years after failed escape attempts. It's a classic case of silencing dissent by locking someone up and throwing away the key. Anchor Infinity doesn't play around. The conversation turns back to the leaked coordinates, and the grim reality sets in. If Lensis leads the homecomers there, they will all die. The Kylians have a morbidly practical approach to death. Bodies are reclaimed and recycled because there's nowhere to bury them. This is bleak. Gandhi drops some serious lore about Odin's tavern. It's owned by Apex, the largest shareholder of the original space station. The CEO died under mysterious circumstances, and control was transferred to the Todd family. This tavern is way more than just a bar. It's a hub of old power. We learn about Agla Todd, a tech prodigy who rebuilt the station's AI after the explosion. She basically saved everyone. The real Odin's Tavern resources are hidden on a secret server deep in space-time turbulence, a digital ghost that Anchor Infinity has been hunting for years. So cool. Gandhi reveals she knows Nanto. Her mom was close with the Todd siblings, so she grew up hearing stories about him. He was seen as a role model, the perfect kid. It adds another layer to his character, suggesting a more complex history than just being Rafa's goon. Nanto is Okarada Todd's adopted son. His parents were Apex employees who died after a grudge with Anchor Infinity. Okarada, battling Starstone Syndrome and unable to have his own kids, poured all his knowledge into Nanto, grooming him to be the future heir of the fallen Apex Empire. The prison work involves cultivating bizarre, electricity-conducting plants for Helix Bio. It's menial, precise labor with strict rules. This is how Anchor Infinity uses its political prisoners, as free labor for its morally bankrupt megacorporation. Every detail in this place is worse than the last. A fellow prisoner messes up and gets sentenced to a night in the Brain Interface Room, a punishment everyone calls the Dreamhouse. The fear is palpable. This isn't just solitary confinement. It's some kind of psychological torture chamber that can get you killed. This place is a true nightmare. The protagonist intentionally messes up their own work to get sent to the Dreamhouse. It's a bold, slightly unhinged move driven by curiosity and a need for answers. They're diving headfirst into the most dangerous part of the prison to figure out what's really going on. The prison's digital library is completely offline, updated only by staff with a special network plugin. Another inmate, a bookworm named Steven, confirms there's no way to contact the outside world. Every potential escape route is locked down tight. The isolation is both physical and digital. Rafa, now recovered, wants Project Arc made public. He's not worried about rumors because it fits into his larger plan. This project is his endgame, a way to solidify his control over the Killians for good. The protagonist's arrival has only accelerated his timeline for this. The interrogation shifts to Shirley, now called Nemesis. They're trying to understand the Omnium technology in her Angel of Clemency body for Project Arc. Rafa reveals there's a door in her subconscious, and the key is understanding the difference between Shirley and Nemesis. It's all very cryptic. Nanto's interrogation style is different. He claims not to trust Hyros, calling their descriptions of Ida overblown propaganda. He's trying to find common ground, positioning himself as a skeptic who sees through the lies of both sides. It's a calculated attempt to gain trust by feigning transparency. Nanto reveals they are healing Nemesis by intervening in her brain to stabilize her system from the space-time turbulence. It's a chillingly sterile way to describe what is essentially non-consensual brain surgery. He's trying to justify their horrific experiments as a form of medical care. The central question is finally asked: what's the difference between them in your eyes? Nanto is probing for the key to unlock her subconscious. He's looking for an emotional or philosophical answer that will bypass the defenses in her mind, and he's using psychological manipulation to get it. The Dreamhouse is a brain interface that uses human minds as a massive server to repair the station's AI, Noah. It siphons consciousness data, leaving vacant brains linked together. It's a horrifyingly brilliant solution to a catastrophic problem, turning comatose passengers into biological hardware. This is wild. The brain interface has adjustable power settings. Cranking it too high causes brain damage or death. General Veronica and Anchor Infinity had a major showdown after an executive's brain was fried, forcing them to reduce the power. But with Veronica gone, the danger is back. The protagonist is planning something wild, using the brain interface to fake brain death and escape. Lincoln thinks it's nuts, as no one can fool Lana's diagnostic tests. It's an incredibly risky plan that relies on outsmarting a super AI, but it's the only option left. Inside the Dreamhouse, Nem from Gestos makes contact. She's created a private digital space where Lana can't listen. She managed to get here by using Shirley as a beacon to navigate the space-time turbulence. Finally, a real ally has arrived on the scene. Nem reveals that Lana has very little computational power assigned to the prison, which is why she could create a containment field. She can even block Lana's access to the entire station, but not for long. The AI battle is on, a digital war happening behind the scenes. Rafa and Nanto discuss the protagonist's trip to the Dreamhouse. Rafa sees no difference between Idens and Killians, viewing both as pawns. He dismisses Hyros as a competitor for resources and wants to boost the brain interface power, showing his utter ruthlessness and lack of empathy. Gandhi reveals that Nanto is protecting two inmates from the brain interface, an old man nobody knows and the bookworm, Stephen. Nanto supposedly cut a deal with the old man for intel, and Stephen was an apex scholar. Nanto's actions are full of contradictions, hinting at a hidden agenda. Gandhi believes Nanto is keeping a colossal secret, possibly tied to Bagus. The two prisoners he's protecting are the only leads. This adds a new layer to the mystery, connecting Nanto's strange behavior in the prison directly to the person the protagonist has been hunting this whole time. Prisoners are dying from the increased power of the brain interface. It's revealed that Anchor Infinity used this tactic before to boost Lana's computing power during server updates, sacrificing prisoners to keep their system running. It's a horrifying revelation of their absolute disregard for human life. A pirate named Scorpion drops a bombshell. Nanto was secretly working with her deadbeat ex, Laurent, using him as a lapdog to sow chaos between the pirates and the Hope Fleet. Nanto orchestrated the conflict to keep both sides weak, playing a long game of manipulation. In her final moments before being sent to her death, Scorpion asks the protagonist for one thing: to smash Nanto's smug face to a bloody pulp. It's a raw, visceral request for vengeance from someone who was used and discarded. The hatred for Nanto is real. Nanto has an assistant AI named Audi, separate from Lana, with the password Slug and Boss Lady. He uses it to confirm his suspicions. Lana's computing power has been diverted, partly to study Shirley, but a huge chunk has vanished into an encrypted server for Project Arc. Rafa is hiding something. Nanto confronts the protagonist, having reviewed all surveillance footage from Odin's tavern. He knows they want Bagus dead. His tone shifts from manipulative to openly hostile, revealing his true purpose: to protect Bagus at all costs. The facade is gone completely. The protagonist bluffs about having a source code in their head to stop Nanto from frying their brain. It's a desperate move, but it taps into the central conflict: the fight over technology. Nanto sees it as a crafty Hyros trick, a despicable but clever blackmail attempt. Nanto reveals his own endgame. He doesn't want to kill the protagonist, but to turn them into a puppet representative. He plans to overthrow the witless Rafa, move Anchor Infinity to Ida, and eventually seize control. He sees himself as the rightful successor, destined to rule. Nem reports that Kylo has unilaterally shut down all communication channels with heroes. They are completely cut off. Plotty misjudged Rafa and feels terrible about it. The situation has gone from bad to worse. They are now truly alone and trapped behind enemy lines. Gandhi finally remembers the connection to Bagus. Her mom learned from Agla Todd that the owner of the original Odin's Tavern in Asperia was a man named Bagus. He was a close friend of Agla's and even got an invitation to the space station, but supposedly died in the explosion. Lincoln is having a full-blown panic attack. He's been sentenced to the Dreamhouse for stacking trays wrong and is convinced he's going to die like Scorpion and Angel. He begs for help, believing the protagonist has found a way to survive the machine's lethal power levels. The escape plan is in motion. Nem will forge the life readings, making it look like the brain interface causes a fatal arrhythmia. It's a high-wire act of faking death, relying on Nem's precise voltage control and ability to fool Lana's real-time monitoring. So much could go wrong. The escape is underway, but Nanto shows up at the last second. It's a heart-stopping moment that threatens to derail the entire plan. Just when freedom seems within reach, the main antagonist appears, setting up a tense and unpredictable confrontation. This is so stressful. General Veronica makes a stunning return. Her deep space exploration, Project Australis, was cut short. She arrives just in time, using her authority over the Hope Fleet to demand an investigation into the protagonist's imprisonment. Her timing is way too perfect to be a coincidence. Veronica flexes her power, reminding everyone that Brighton Prison is under Hope Fleet jurisdiction. She takes custody of the protagonist, completely shutting down Rafa and Nanto. It's a masterful political move, and she does it all with a calm, unshakable authority. She's a total boss. Plot twist. Nanto is in Veronica's office. He's the one who tipped her off. He proposes an alliance, arguing they have shared interests. They both want to find Bagus and can't stand Rafa. It's an enemy of my enemy is my friend's situation, a fragile truce born of desperation. The protagonist rejects Nanto, calling out his hypocrisy. But Veronica reveals Nanto's encrypted message is the only reason she made it back in time to save them. He orchestrated his own defeat to prove his sincerity, a complex gambit to force an alliance. His mind games are insane. Nanto exposes Rafa's entire strategy, using Lana to impose authoritarian rule, drive Killians to piracy, and then use the pirates to bog down the Hope Fleet. Odin's Tavern was secretly used to fund the pirates, a controlled opposition to keep everyone fighting each other instead of him. The final, massive reveal. Bagus is Okarada Todd, Nanto's adoptive father and Agla's brother. He never died. He's been playing the role of the Phantom. He staged his own assassination as a final desperate act, a martyr play to get an assassin close to his true target. Nanto lays out his vision for the future. With Rafa dead, he will control Anchor Infinity, Odin's Tavern, and the rewritten Lana AI. He sees himself as the sole unifier of Kylo, dismissing both Veronica's idealism and Hyros's interference. It's a declaration of his ultimate ambition,